taught you to hate yourself from the top of your head to the soles of your feet? Who taught you to hate your own
To another
kind?
episode of the
Who taught you to
Uncensored
hate
Truth
the race
Podcast.
that
I'm
you
your brother
belong to?
Oprah from Hip Hop News Uncensored, and sitting across from me is my co-host.
What it do? What's good? It's your brother Sam and Viral Hip Hop News. We're in the building. It is a Thursday.
Yeah.
We got an electrifying episode of the Uncensored Truth Podcast for you. Oh God, what's good, my brother?
What it do? What it do, family? We want to say peace to everybody that's listening on Google Play, iTunes, Spotify, and definitely our people on YouTube. What up with y'all? Man, we are excited to be in the building today. We got quite a lineup though. But Sam, man, how was your our day off yesterday? What'd you do, man?
Man, I was chilling with the kids like I always do, man. Got some working out in like I usually tend to, and got some real good work in. We had an electrifying episode on Tuesday, man. It kept me busy on Wednesday. Yeah. Shout out to all the people that's watching us or listening to us, on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play. We see you, we feel you, you keep sharing it, you keep helping us out. We definitely appreciate the numbers going on over there. And of course on YouTube on all three platforms, man. So yeah, I was busy working and chilling with the kids, man, like I always do. Real excited to be back here. Can't wait to be live tomorrow with the people. Yeah. How was your day, man? What you do?
Oh man, great. We went up and got our business set up for the Uncensored Truth.
Come on, man.
Podcast. Hit a nice training session, you know what I'm saying, today. And just handle some other business, man. It's just an exciting time for us right now. We're gonna keep pushing. You know what I mean? Just pushing out this content to y'all, man. That's all we do.
Looking like you're getting kind of buffing at that 76ers thing, man.
Oh,
like
yeah.
You know what I mean? Had a good workout. And what you doing over there with that workout?
Oh, we doing a lot. Almost
busy.
Everything. Yeah.
You got a personal trainer.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. I'm a young lady, you know what I'm saying? Peace to her. You know what I'm saying? She's real good.
Oh, got ready to throw them body shots in the day, man. We got a lot of stuff coming in for y'all, man. We got the Wake and Bake podcast. We're going to get real busy over there, man. Yeah. It'll be a different dynamic. We'll go live on Viral Hip Hop News. We don't know the day yet, but we'll hit y'all with that real soon. That'll be on iTunes, Spotify, and all the outlets, just like Uncensored Truth. And we're going to be just as electrifying, but it's going to be definitely different, man. Talk about Wake and Bake real quick, man.
Oh, man, well, that's going to be, different set. Obviously it's the Wake and Bake. You can put two and two together what we'll be doing on that. But just gonna be raw, man. More raw, more in your face. We're gonna slow the tempo down, do some reaction videos, and just go somewhere, just show more of our personalities, pretty much is all with that. They're gonna really love that one, man. This is our professional, our professional swag. With them, we just gonna put our feet down and chill.
Put in work, absolutely, man. We solidifying business, like you said. It's very exciting times for the Uncensored Truth Podcast. But what we got on the lineup today, man? Let's not hold them too much longer. Big dog.
Man, we're going to talk about T.I. speaking up about Rallo, also Monique, and her husband, giving their, opinion on Michael Jackson coming at Oprah. Also, Young Thug, we're going to talk about him once again. We're going to talk about Michael Jackson's music being pulled off of some radio stations, man. I think that's tragic at this point. Also, we're going to talk about Wendy Williams, coming out with the confession about something she did in her past. So it's going to be real, like you said, electrifying show. I can't wait to get to it, man.
Yeah, man. Well, let's get started. What we got first?
Yeah, so before we go, though, I'm going to give a shout out to my man, Red 609. That's the song you hear playing, in the background. Go check him out. Also, Conway, is on there. So definitely. Yes, sir.
Indeed, you can find that song and that link in the description box right now of any video you watch or any platform. Indeed. Shout out to Riz.
Yes, sir. So everybody listening on YouTube, go ahead and hit that like button for me before we get started. You already know the content's going to be electrifying. So I want to start actually with this story right here. Is T.I., talking about Rallo. You put a post up today that you shared with me. First of all, if you don't know about Rallo, young successful rapper out of Georgia, was pretty much about a year ago, arrested for getting caught transporting hundreds of pounds of marijuana from California to Georgia. Now, T.I., went on his Twitter, I think that was today. Instagram, okay. I left a statement. He said, in this day and age where dispensaries are opening up in GA as well as all over the rest of the country, and marijuana being a $1 billion industry, how was it deemed fair, reasonable, or appropriate for us to be only arrested, tried, and penalized for it, but also blocked out of the industry of growing and distributing it? How is it okay for a white man in Oregon, Nevada, or Colorado to grow, smoke, and profit millions from marijuana, but a black man from the west side of Atlanta who has been nothing less than a service and a pillar to his community can be jailed and taken away from his family for allegedly doing the same thing? And don't give me it's because it's legal bullshit, because we all know the laws of man in this country has led U.S. astray many times historically. The capturing, buying, selling, raping of our people was once legal. Hanging a black man or woman, child in public was also once legal. Alcohol was once deemed illegal, although President JFK's grandfather made it illegal. BMF type of empire of it and changed the trajectory of the lineage forever. Seems like the laws are set up to do much of what the first police force was assembled to do: hunt, capture, and kill and enslave our people. And that's why it's free, Rallo. We still with you, little bro. Enough is enough. Sam, man, it's a lot. It's a lot there. But what do you think about that? That's beautiful. What do you think about T.I. saying that?
To answer his question, why? Money.
Yeah.
They ain't in Rollo's pocket. He didn't let him in their pocket.
Right.
In his pocket. Therefore, he must go down. They knew what he was doing, and they wouldn't have cared if he would have gave up some money. But why should he? That's a $1 billion business. This shit going on. That's my plan. Let me do what I got to do. But because he didn't give up the bread, now we have law in place to take him down. It's that simple. When you look at some of the major drug organizations, how they got started, how drugs were infiltrated into the major cities back in the 80s, it came through who? The government. They had their hand on it. That's why it was so profitable. Second, people got too high or that money got thin or something, FBI came take them out. It was a nice little cycle they had going on. Rollo taking care of his people, money filtering back in and out through the community. Him showing it on Instagram. We got to put that into it because he was showing it off as well. Just gave them ammo to go, take that fool down if you don't give us a piece.
Yeah. And it's like, T.I. brings up some other great, points. He even goes deeper when he talks about like the industry, how it was strategically set up in these states, whereas are, if I'm not mistaken, predominantly white states, like Washington, Colorado, where these people Oregon, right, are profiting, billions. I mean, I'm talking about billions of dollars into their economy and able to sell it, and anybody can get licensing for it. But just a few thousand, miles over, you got people, actually going to jail. Now, some places they are moving now. I forgot where it was, but they're now starting to move to even remove marijuana convictions. So it's a trickle down effect. But the fact that, and there's a lot of, and I want to, get deeper into this about, marijuana, whether it's really good or bad for you, because we got to have a debate on that, with some real good scholars in here. But it's like to the point now where it's like, it's blatant what we see going on. It's been blatant. You know what I mean? He also talked about the police. You know what I mean? And I remember did a debate about the first police, that was established in this country years back. Pretty much they were established, to keep slaves, and under control, to hunt slaves, to kill slaves, to make sure, that they didn't have any insurrections to randomly pop up on people, search people. The same thing that the police do now.
This was fresh out of slavery. They were going into
freedom. It pretty much, that's how the police was started. It was started from slave patrols. That's how the police actually started. So, the mentality is still the same. The structure is pretty much still the same. And also in my debate, I was breaking down how they kept a lot of those police departments like New York, Boston. A lot of that was like family lineage. All those people, their sons were cops, their sons were cops there. So, mentality is definitely clear and present. I got to say, I 100% agree, with a lot of what T.I. said, man. And again, not to go too long, free my man Rollo, man. That's what I was saying.
Nah, indeed, brother. And the thing we were talking about in the pre-production, it's so easy to just smell marijuana and search your fucking whip. Now, we are going and furthering in time to where we eventually see it passing. And in it passing makes you also kind of throw a third eye to it. Like, okay, now is what I'm smoking safe, which, what I mean? You were bringing up earlier in your discussion when you were saying we got to talk about the health benefits of it. We're going to have people on, scholars and various people like that. That may be a wake and bake interview. That might be real dope. But you got to really understand now what we're putting into our bodies. All that being said, when you look at
the benefits, right?
Yeah, exactly. But when you look at how in the, what was I going to say? The weed got me.
Right. Well, if you look at it, if you look at, the benefits, we got people that, that have all type of terminal cancer, people that are, sick. I even know people personally. My mom was just telling me about a family member who had cancer, and smoking the marijuana pretty much got him through the whole thing. Where now, it's I think it's called remission, now. So it's like, right now, I think, the benefits outweigh, we can't say that about a lot of other things like alcohol, but the benefits definitely far outweigh, any of the risks with marijuana. Now, there's a lot of people talk about the way you do it, whether you eat it. Sometimes smoking may be bad because you put fire to it. But generally, I guess, ingesting it, eating it, brownie, CBD oil, things like that, it's working wonders for people.
Yeah, 100%.
Wonders.
And like I was saying before I lost my train of thought, as far as the cops are concerned, how people are going to jail for it.
Right.
And predominantly black males going to jail for it. And how we see it legalized here, there, and everywhere. A great point that T.I. made, but especially within inner cities, they're kind of clicking their heels and it's really not going on. And we still see people being locked up for a very long time. I mean, you don't got many times to get caught with marijuana before you in jail. Mm-hmm. And if you got enough on you the first time, your ass is going to jail. Mm-hmm. When you're seeing dispensaries in all these states being put up here, put up there, we're seeing all the health benefits of it. So why is it right here and not right there? And when are you going to legalize it? And when are these people going to be out of jail?
Yeah, because first of all, we're all in the United States of America. So we know that it's different states, but it's like you got to call foul where it's foul. If you have one state where guys are going to jail, their freedom's being taken away, and one state where guys are profiting and they're predominantly, whites. In this state, it's predominantly black. You have to call that out. You have to, you know what I mean? And that's not, and you was going, real good when you was talking about, the nonviolent drug offenses, which the majority, of black Latinos, people of color are in there for those. And a lot of times it's marijuana. And we talked about also how it's a lot of times they catch that scent of marijuana. It leads to a whole bunch of other, things. But if this were legal, that wouldn't even be a problem no more. Okay, you ain't got your license, registration. We do what we're going to do. But the whole search and seizure shit, that's why I think you also made a good point. They don't want to get rid of this because they will lose a lot of money. It's a lot of money in these arrests. There's a lot of money in the private prison. It's a lot of money, and locking these guys up over something that people are not only profiting off, but it's saving people's life.
Let's take this a step further and just disgusting how they deal and disgusting conditions that they have in jail. And everything that we're talking about, bodies being killed or people being killed, inmates being killed, bodies ended up turning up missing, all the things, these people in New York, the inmates in New York not having electricity, cold, when it's bitter fucking cold in December and January, whenever that was. The conditions are awful, and it often brings you back to slavery-like conditions, and it kind of brings you right down a trickle effect. The second you get put under these shackles, the second you get put behind bars, you are now legally a slave again, and we're going to treat you just like it. And when you look at who they're targeting, and I say targeting for a reason, because if you look at the numbers, we're not the majority of the crime makers. How? When we're not the majority of the race in America. We take up a certain majority.
People to do drugs more. European, because they're more people.
Exactly. Right. So come on now. So when you look at the amount of blacks and African American male and females that there are behind bars, you got to look at what's going on systematically, man. Free Rollo.
Yeah, definitely, man. Excellently, put. You tuned in to the Uncensored Truth podcast, the most underrated podcast out right now. But I want y'all to do me a favor, man. If y'all enjoy the content, go ahead and hit that like button for us and share this video. That's the most important thing you can do, is like and share this video, no matter what platform that you're on. If you want to help us, please, do that. Now, Sam, man, I know you were talking about Monique and her husband. I know you got that queued up over there.
Exactly, man. Well, we all know the Leaving Neverland whole situation with Michael Jackson, Wade Robson, James Sepchek, or whatever his name was, and all that crap that was going on. Well, Monique had a lot to say about it. Let me see if I got her stuff in here right now as I'm looking.
Yes, sir.
Do the drone real quick. I do right here.
Yes, sir.
She left. She had an interview doing, I guess, her podcast thing with her husband, and she wanted to she had this to say: here's a man that was found not guilty in the eyes of law, and you wait 10 years. Let me get this closer up to me. And you wait 10 years after this man was deceased to now do an interview with people who said they lied. Speaking on Wade Robinson, saying that he did it and didn't lie and all that. For me, it's sad and disheartening. That man welcomed you in his home, and you spoke on him, on how beautiful he was, and all the love this man has shown to children all over the world, that being Oprah. Okay. When we're calling someone a molester and they're no longer here, Michael Jackson is not here to defend himself, which is a major problem. He was found not guilty. Then you come back and you allow these two men to get on your platform and tell this story, and that man cannot defend himself who does that. When we're calling someone a molester and they're no longer here, oh, excuse me, I said that one, my bad. We will take who we think has the bag and we will turn on them, or turn them into gods. When you have Sister Kim Whitley and she says Oprah Winfrey is my God, and you're saying because she gave you a television show, you give her God status, I agree the exposure does not need to happen. However, how do you keep exposing when a man, or how do you keep exposing when a man has been found not guilty? Because if he was found not guilty, then whatever's going to happen is going to happen.
Yeah.
I've seen Dr. Phil, I've seen Dr. Oz, but I can't tell you about the numerous men of color that she brought to the forefront. Hold them in high esteem.
No, I mean, I 100%, and we echoed this sentiment many times here on the podcast. We have to call this exactly what it is. This is a public lynching. That's just, if I can't even, censor that anymore, of this man, for whatever reasons that they got. And with Monique, and here's the most important part, of it for me, and what Monique brought up is that the fact that this man had his time in court for these same individuals, he walked out of there. They come back and trying to destroy this man's legacy after all of these years. It's slander, it's defamation, it's the worst thing that you can do. Just call it what it is. These guys are looking for money, looking for clout. They call that now, right? Clout, fame, notoriety. That's what they're looking for. And they're doing it at the expense of Michael Jackson and his estate and his name, because they had some type of connection, an intimate connection. She also talks about this is like the ultimate betrayal, the ultimate backstabbing. You bring somebody into your home, you're friendly to them, you make sure they're safe. Probably who knows what he did for him. Mm-hmm. Now, when he's dead, now you want to come back, and come with some fucking scandal. This is crazy, man. I think I done seen it all now, man. In my short 33 years, I've seen a lot, crazy stuff, man. This is at the top of the list right here.
That would make you see some other things later on down the road and probably wouldn't be so surprised and probably end up saying that it was going to happen anyway. I'm not going to talk about Michael Jackson too much in the context. I want to leave this in Monique and Oprah's perspective for the context of the conversation. But it's so crazy how you have a mass of people, especially people who really once rode with this man in Michael Jackson, rode with his music, rode with what he believed in, rode with what he believed for, who knew everything that was going on in his life, if you thought it was weird or not, and you roll with him. You see a documentary and it changes your perspective. Simply hearing the word documentary, seeing it on HBO, the mass appeal, they throw it at you immediate and you automatically assume it's true. Not even thinking for 1 second that the two sources coming out on them are not credible at all. Two known sources that have known to lie on this dude on top of the court, or on top of sitting his day in court and being found innocent, on top of the 10-year FBI investigation on him, on top of the numerous slander. Never, ever was he found guilty of anything he was accused of. And they still run with it. And they still
what do you say to the
truth.
people will say, well, Michael Jackson, he may have covered it up, listen, you need to be sympathetic to the victims, Sandman, of this, the ropes into the safe, Chuck. What if something did happen? Why are you being insensitive? What do you say to that? You
got to really excuse me on the insensitivity when you look at the mass consequence behind what's really going on. You're talking about taking a man's music who was probably the most influential musician, artist next to Prince of all time. The most probably of all time. And you're talking about taking his music away because you don't understand some of his behavior. And because he has half of Sony's catalog and $1 billion worth of assets. And what black man, especially an entertainer, has ever walked away free? None of them. So it is not hard out of the expectation of the imagination to think, when you think of Martin Luther King being assassinated, Malcolm X being assassinated, JFK, let's put him in there, being assassinated, Bob Marley being assassinated, and a number of other ones we can speculate on that mysteriously may have died throughout our lifetime. Why not Michael Jackson? His influence speaks for it. His money speaks for it. And because he has behavior that we may not understand. Can we talk about why he likes to chill with kids? He said he likes their innocence. He enjoys just being around that the childlike innocence. It gives him inspiration.
I mean, but still, even that though, Sam, man, let's not take that as really as being weird, because Teachers like to be around kids.
Talk about it.
You know what I mean? You got all these different professions that enjoy being around, working with kids, counselors and all that. So, just the fact that he wanted to work with random kids and bring is not to, something that would suggest that he was, doing anything sexual, in my opinion. I just want to put that out there.
That was a great point.
Yeah.
And it needed to be said because people really enjoy being around children. Some people do that. And when you look at a musician where you can kind of go, damn, where do you get the inspiration behind that? Mm-hmm. Maybe it was being around children. He helped the sick. Mm-hmm. He helped a lot of different kids. He was giving them donation. He said something, I don't know if you caught the audio of that, where they had like a interview that may not have been taped or shown too much with Piers Morgan. Okay. He said he slit his wrist before he hurt a child. Like he came out and said, there's no way in hell this would happen. I don't do this kind of stuff. They're trying to destroy me. I would not do it. Where some people in their place of guilt would not vehemently deny their charges. He didn't do this.
The media, we got to shift this to the media. The media right now could have you believe in something that never, ever, ever, ever happened. Right now, we always talk about the power of the media, and that's why we, in my opinion, that's the most important, one of the most important, aspects when we talk about propaganda, and certain things like that. That controls the mass, that controls what people think. You said it earlier. How could all these people with all this evidence, the 10-year investigation, the fact that this, that, and the third, how could they still just believe it after this watching the documentary? It's the propaganda. It's the way the brain works. You know what I mean? It's the way that people are wired. So, the media is important, man. It can have, like I said, Jay-Z even spoke about, the media, and it can build you up to be a god, or it can make you like a devil, all in the same week.
I mean, and we see who else better and what more prominent name with the bigger platform and especially the right color than Oprah Winfrey to seal it and bring it all in. Now, I've seen a lot of rumors, and there's been a lot of people hitting me up on my my comment section of YouTube, kind of giving a little bit of conspiracy as to who funded the whole Michael Jackson leaving Neverland. Now, I think it was somebody from the UK, some producer out of the UK who produced the film, but who actually put money toward it. There's some names floating around, and I'm not going to throw them out there until we get proper receipts on that. But if we do, and it is real, it's going to be an explosive episode. We'll talk about that offhand. But I want to bring, just to kind of close this conversation, Monique's husband said some very interesting things, kind of historical things, a little bit of a 3-minute conversation, then we'll turn that off, in regards to why Oprah Winfrey would do something like this after being so cool with Michael Jackson. Here it is.
Oprah had Sister Maya Angelou on her show, and she was coming on with a level of frequency. And then all of a sudden, one day, you didn't see her anymore. And it was after the show when they were speaking in reference to finding out people's lineage and their history through, I guess, DNA and things of that nature. And it was shared with Oprah Winfrey that her forefathers or her family members prior to her may have been slaves to Elvis Presley's family. And she was so excited to hear that. And Maya Angelou looked over at her like, what did you just say? How can you be excited to hear that your family was enslaved, number one, by anybody, much less Elvis Presley's family? And it spoke to a level of the delusional state that she lives in. Spoke about it last week. There's this thing called the Meritorious Manumissions Act of 1710, my people. Come on. Again, Meritorious Manumissions Act of 1710. And we see replications of that right now. And what that was, there were 4 things that would allow the slave to get out from under bondage. Number 1, it was to save the slave master's life. Or number 2, to save the slave master's property. Number 3, to create something that was profitable for the slave master. Or number 4, tell on one of the other slaves. Come on. So we see right now that there's still that mentality because there's a level of creation of profit for the slave master. And there's a level of freedom, or should I say telling on the other brothers, because Michael is technically free. He's no longer here to defend himself, but we're going to give a platform because we know there's a level of defense that is not going to be had for somebody of color. And a prime example of that is if you're very interested in expelling or dispelling the myths and bringing the truth to the forefront, all we would ask is, why did you never come out and say Monique did nothing wrong?
Thoughts on that, man, before we close it?
Yeah, that's man. First of all, the brother's 100% accurate. You know what he's saying, and that's why I always think, you know, it's important to know your history. You know, I'm gonna really get deep into it and learn. You know, because when you see behaviors, why people act certain ways, well, okay, this is probably why. You know what I mean? It just, to me, you know, it baffles me, man. You know, to see, you know, even people in high positions, even going against each other like that, man, when we could all really be, you know, lifting a hand to try to help each other. But yeah, I 100% agree, you know, with everything he said. It's nothing I can really add to that, man, in my opinion.
Well said, indeed.
Definitely. But yeah, man, we tuned into the Uncensored Truth podcast with your brother, Old God and Sam, man. Going in today on this Thursday. We want y'all to tune in tomorrow night. If y'all want to check us out live, we'll be live on Hip Hop News Uncensored at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So yeah, man, definitely. We're gonna jump to this one next, man.
Who taught you to hate your own kind? Who taught you to hate the race that you belong to?
Hopping out the Lex, I felt like Malcolm X. Marching with the shooters like Martin Luther. 40 cal SK or the fucking.
Tuned into the Uncensored Truth podcast with your brother, Old God and Sam, man. Everybody that's listening on YouTube, as always, y'all already know what to do. Go ahead and hit that like button right there on the screen and share this video on your timeline for me. Tell a friend to tell a friend that the Uncensored Truth podcast is on. I want to turn my attention to Young Thug. Now, the last time we did a video on this cat, I think it was him and Lil Uzi Vert, and they put on, you know, I think it was like some dress type shit, purses, all types of crazy shit. That was a good, you know, conversation. Well, Young Thug, we obviously know that he's trolling, you know, put on, I'm gonna put the video right there on the screen, the Gucci blackface. Actually went out and purchased this. I'm gonna play a little bit of video that we're gonna talk about this. All right, so that's Gucci, man. You see right there. With the Gucci blackface hand, man, you see him right there. What are your initial thoughts on this, man? I'm interested to see what you gotta, you know, say about, you know, this, because we had a couple good conversations about this.
Yeah, man. You know, Young Thug, man, it's crazy because we were really trying to be on your side. The last couple of conversations, we had the little Uzi Vert, and that was early on in the podcast. Seemed so long ago. Now it was a year ago. It's crazy. It seemed like yesterday. But when you dealt with your stuff with the law, we were on your side. When you dealt with your stuff with the substance abuse, we wanted to see you out of it. We gave you credit and gave you salute when it came to your music and the evolution of your music. So when you do stupid shit like this, you got to expect a slap on the head too. And you got to expect to get worked a little bit because you deserve it. You see the public backlash that created and how much that really offended people. And you put the motherfucker on and just completely like, man. Yeah, you took 14 steps back right here. Right. And even though you're joking and you don't care, and we obviously see you with purses and blouses and shit, and you don't care, you do this. What's your grandmama think about this?
And this is what I be talking about, man. It's just like in America, all over, man. Like we the only people who do stuff like this, man. I hate to say it again. Like you put it on, and I'm laughing because I don't want to be crying. You know what I'm saying? But you put it on or whatever to get the reaction that we're giving them, you know what I mean, to piss people off. But again, what you said, what would your grandma, what would your great grandma, you know, think about, you know, this people? I mean, we were just talking about the slave patrol and the police and, you know, a lot of stuff that's going on. And, you know, to do this, man, you're silly for that. You know what you are. Somebody put, I think Kodak Black, they said he was a walker. I'm not saying this. Somebody said in the comment, he was like the walking personification of a coon. You know what I mean? And the, you know, and you had this, man, you had, you know, at the time of struggle, you had, you know, whenever be, you know, let's just go back to slavery. When you had people trying to get free, you had people who will rather, you know, go against that and say, look, I just want to stay on the plantation. Not that this is exactly like that, but at least it was a mission, you know, to at least do something. Whether it broke apart in a few days, it was somebody spoke up and said something, and you just totally like just shitted on it by throwing that on, you know, taking a shot pretty much at T.I. You know what I mean? He was one of the guys that was very vocal about it. And you're right there in the same city. You know what I mean? So that's sad, man.
It's sad because he's ignorant and mentally shackled, man. And it's fucked up because you had the people beginning to get on your side. You're a young dude. You made mistakes. You got a story to tell. When you look at, in comparison to people in your class, like a 21 Savage, prime example, who was a fucking knucklehead coming into it, but slowly evolved, started doing different things, dealt with his time with the law, but said, nah, fuck all that nonsense. I'm going to do the right things and start taking care of my business. And you see even a rich homie Quan, prime example, somebody that you used to ride with. He kind of said, you know what? Nah, that road I'm going down, that road we going down, I got to chill. Let me kind of change my whole shit up and move in a different direction. Now we see the success that he's finding himself in, whether that be in his own lane or not, he's successful. And when you look at a young thug who has just as equal talent as both of them men and just keeps doing stupid shit after stupid shit, and this ignorance that he showed, yes, is going to give him negative attention, but hopefully it hits a nerve and makes him want to change. Because
do you think that he's saying, this is pretty much saying fuck T.I. at this point? You know what I mean? Indirectly. Would you say that, or would that be stretching it?
He's saying fuck myself.
Yeah, T.I. Everybody. It ain't about T.I. Yeah,
it's about, he's saying fuck myself, because he's not just aggravating T.I. in Atlanta. That's not a direct shot. He's aggravating a lot of people. And like I said, and no disrespect to anybody's grandmother, no disrespect to his, God rest her soul if she happened to pass away. But when you think about the culture, and when you think about just being black and having a grandmother and listening to them stories and just hearing it and just feeling the power behind that, you know, certain things your grandmother would accept and love, and certain things would just hurt and offend.
But it's like, Sam, man, they take it this a little bit for, it's like, you got a whole history. Like when you talk about those stories of your grandma and great, they went through a lot of messed up things to endure to get where we're at now, to have certain freedoms. They had to endure, you know, not being able to go here, being whipped, you know, police brutality times 10. You know what I mean? They had to endure all of these things for you to make mockery out of your own people. Now, we ain't asking you to be Malcolm X, but don't say shit. Don't go against it. It's okay. Okay, you don't want to say no, I'm not a bold guy. I want to make my music and do my thing. But when you go against it, you make yourself an ass. You know what I mean? And we have to, you know, attack you in love. And nobody wants no harm to come to you. But, you know, at some point, you know, when you talk about when you talk about revolutions, sometimes, and not to say that we're in a revolution and nothing like that, but when you're talking about people trying to change, let's put it like that, sometimes the harsh people have to be dealt with very harshly for going against the progress, is all I want to say.
You know, us as a culture, as black people, we all know that we have a lot of work to do to just get back on track and to get to where we want to get. But one thing that we really have to understand is it doesn't matter what you think, what he thinks, what she thinks. It doesn't matter who he dates, what she dates, with this. It doesn't matter if you agree to disagree. It doesn't matter if we necessarily get along. We all have to understand that we all have to get better as a culture. And certain things, like you said, the Steve Harveys of the world, that rings a bell when we just talked about the last conversation, the Oprah Winfreys, the Floyd Mayweathers, the Young Thugs. These type of things wouldn't happen in different cultures, whether you agree or not. It wouldn't happen, because we know as a culture, as a solidified group, we have to be able to move forward. And it just goes beyond being able to go, yeah, he's cool with me. Yeah, fuck who he's dating. Yeah, I don't agree with his political status. Because when we go try to get a loan at a bank, we need to look at one of ours to have proper understanding of what we're going through, so we can go, here you go, like the Jewish does, like the Asians do, like these other cultures do.
Sam, man, imagine this real quick, man. Let's just say, you know how they talk about the Redskins, and how, you know, people come to the games with all the Indian regalia, and how the Native Americans were against that. They wanted them to use a name. Imagine, you know, something came out, Gucci put out something against Native Americans, and a couple of weeks later, you saw a Native American dude just pop up with the whatever they were going against. You know what I mean? Just looking like a complete asshole. Just sitting there like it wouldn't happen. So much pride, it's sad. Culture, that's what I'm saying. It's sad, man.
Yeah, and we do it out of love, man. Young Thug, we do it out of love, man.
Yeah.
But damn, shame on you for that one, bro. And people, and you know what, my bad. And a lot of people gonna be in the comment section, y'all taking this shit too deep, you doing this, you doing that. Cool. What was your grandmama saying?
And it's like, and the thing is, we talk about what we want to talk about on this platform. A lot of people say, oh, you know, we do what we want. We pay the bills over here. If you want to talk about something, you talk about it.
Appreciate that, man.
Yeah.
Goddamn. I was gonna say, who paid it? I think we did that.
Nice shirt over there too, man. Michael Jackson.
Yeah, well,
repping.
Why the fuck wasn't I not?
No doubt.
One of the goats, man.
No doubt. No doubt.
Innocent man. I'm gonna rep my
shame.
dog.
I was the same, and I was sitting in the restaurant, man, and eating, and the Michael Jackson song came on. It was just a beautiful. It made the whole experience better. So to think that they're talking about taking his music off the radio was insane.
It's insane, and we're not being naive or ignorant to anything. His music does not go beyond his man. So if he did do anything, let's put that back on here, because we said it every podcast we talk about Michael Jackson. We're gonna say it on this one. If he did do anything to hurt, harm, sexually, just violate any child, fuck Michael Jackson. But he didn't.
Right.
So we riding with Michael Jackson, goddamn it. Let's roll.
Sir, yes, sir. But you tuned in to the Uncensored Truth podcast, man, winding down here on this Thursday. If you're listening on YouTube, as always, go ahead and hit that like button. Please make sure that you share this video. Also, a special shout out to the people listening on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, and wherever else you're listening to the podcast. We want to say we do appreciate that. Do you have anything else over there, say, man?
Nah, man, just real quick before we get out of here. I know we were talking in the pre-production real quick about family.
Who taught you to hate your own kind? Who taught you to hate the race that you belong to?
Hopping out the Lex, I felt like Malcolm X. Marching with the shooters like Martin Luther. 40 cal SK or the fucking Ruger. Don't ever question if I got the heart to shoot.
And doing that shit.
Facts.
You know what I mean? But yeah, man, another episode of the Uncensored Truth podcast is in the books tonight. Family, got my man Red 609 blazing through your speakers with Conway, man. If you're listening, no matter where you're listening to this, please go ahead and just get the little share button and share this with a friend. Text them, whatever you got to do. Let them know about us. We do appreciate your cooperation in advance. Another one in the book, Sam, man.
Indeed, man. It feels good. I can't wait till tomorrow evening, 8 p.m. About 24 hours from now, we will be live with the people, for the people, exclusively on Hip Hop News Uncensored, the Uncensored Truth podcast. Shout out to everyone listening right now on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, and all major online outlets. If you happen to catch this piece of the podcast, the end of the podcast, make sure you share the video. Make sure you contact us, however that be, whether IG, a comment on iTunes, YouTube, whatever. Let us know you're a loyal listener so we can show our appreciation. Can't wait till tomorrow, brother. That's all I got.
Yeah, that's all I got over here as well, fam. We do appreciate every single listener from 1 to 1 million, man. You have a beautiful, beautiful night. That's Sam, man. I'm Old God, and we are out of here.
Peace.
Hopping out the Lex, I felt like Malcolm X. Marching with the shooters like Martin Luther. 40 cal SK or the fucking Ruger. Don't ever question if I got the heart to shoot.
As we walk, we must make the pledge that we shall always march ahead. We cannot turn back.
They say the best things come from the worst shit. This all facts, this ain't no verse shit. I done fought the